You go to the cardiologist, you wear the monitor, maybe for 2 weeks, maybe a month. They call you back and they tell you everything's fine. And you want to call bullshit because you're still having the fish flip-flopping in your chest, right? They say structurally your heart is healthy, and you say, something is still wrong. And they say, good luck. And you sit there like, okay, then what is happening to me? Because it's not nothing. You know it's not nothing. You felt it. You're probably currently feeling it. The flip-flopping, the thud, the missed beat, the pause, the speed up of the heartbeat, and then the drop off. It's a moment where your heart literally just does something weird that you've never experienced before, and you know you're experiencing it, and you feel like you're explaining an invisible symptom that nobody believes you about. And then you think you're the only one going through it, and the doctor just must not know anything about it because nobody else is going through it. Am I right? Because I've been there. I can't tell you how many times I wore a Holter monitor. How many times I thought I was dying because my heart was flip-flopping in my chest in my mid-30s. And when that happens, your whole body goes on alert. And nobody connects it to anything. God help them if they try to say it's anxiety or depression or any number of things. Oh my God. Hey girl, hey. I'm Stacy. I'm a holistic nutrition student. I'm a coach. And I'm in the middle of this exact same thing in real time. And today I want to talk to you about the connection between estrogen, yes, estrogen, and heart palpitations, or that flip-flopping fish in your chest. Why? Because this is one of the most dismissed symptoms, and it's terrifying. Rephrase, it can be terrifying. I'm not trying to terrify you. It's dismissed, it's misdiagnosed, and can be one of the most frightening symptoms in perimenopause. And girl, it can start in your 30s. Okay, so first, here's what I want you to understand. Estrogen is not just a reproductive hormone like most of us were probably led to believe or thought. I know I did. And quite frankly, I hadn't thought about estrogen as much as I've thought about it in the last month in my entire 47 years. Estrogen has receptors in your cardiac tissue, aka your heart. Your heart has estrogen receptors, which means that when estrogen fluctuates, guess what? And I do mean fluctuates, like a freaking roller coaster, because it's not anything but chaos in perimenopause, and can do it every 20 minutes. Your estrogen can fluctuate every 20 minutes. But when it does this, your heart can feel it. And estrogen helps regulate your autonomic nervous system. This is the system that controls things that you don't consciously decide in a day, like your heart rate, digestion, breathing. And that system has two modes: sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic is fight or flight. It speeds your heart up. Parasympathetic is your rest and digest, and it slows your heart back down. When estrogen is stable, guess what? Those two modes retain a balance. They stay in balance, like a teeter-totter, balancing. And when estrogen is erratic, the balance gets destabilized. So that's like somebody slamming down on the teeter-totter to bounce the other person off. I hope teeter-totter is not an archaic reference here, but I guess you guys are close to my age if you're on here, so hopefully you know what a teeter-totter is. So, what's it feel like in your body? Women describe two main things. An ectopic beat, meaning something like an extra heartbeat that seems to fire at the wrong time. It's not the steady pattern. It's erratic enough that you're like, oh my God, what the fuck? That feeling. A thud, a flip, a skipped beat. It almost makes you feel like, you've gotten scared and your heart does that thing. That. And then there's episodic tachycardia, which is a sudden racing of the heart that comes out of nowhere. And that one will scare me. They both scare me, but that one scares me. And it's not from exercise or fear. It just happens. Both of these are documented in estrogen research, and both are connected to estrogen fluctuations. So there's a study called the SWAN study, capital SWAN right here. The study of women's health across the nation. Here's a part that you don't often hear. This can show up before your periods change, before anything gets irregular. It did for me. Estrogen can start fluctuating years before your cycle will visibly change, noticeably change. So those of us women in our mid to late 30s are experiencing heart palpitations that are sending us to a cardiologist. And then we're being told we're anxious or dehydrated or stressed or overworked or blah fucking blah, fill in the blank. And then we go home and our hearts keep doing the same thing and you're like, this can't be right. One of the most important things in me doing this is being able to suggest things that you can try when you're not getting answers anywhere else or you're at your wit's end, because that's what I had to do for myself. I became my own damn guinea pig. So again, not medical advice, just things that I've tried that have research behind them. So one thing that you can do, and a lot of us don't connect the dots on these things, and that's okay. When we're at this age, we're busy. So let me help you. Estrogen helps to hold on to magnesium inside of our cells. Not in our blood, but in our cells where it can actually do its job. And yes, we're going to have to learn some science here, but trust me, it's worth it. So this is called intracellular magnesium. Magnesium inside your cells. And this is where it does its work. Most of your magnesium is here and not in your blood. When estrogen becomes erratic, magnesium regulation gets disrupted. Are we surprised? No, because this is what we keep talking about. Estrogen is critical, and magnesium is involved in your heart's electrical system. Believe it or not, our heart has an electrical system. The calcium channels and electrical conduction. Magnesium is mission critical for all of these. So low magnesium equals cardiac irritability. That's the actual physiological term, cardiac irritability. Perfect term for perimenopause. But your heart gets irritable, essentially. So here's why that is sneaky. Standard blood panels test serum magnesium. That is the magnesium that is floating in your blood. But most of your magnesium lives where? In your cells. I really think we should have been taught this stuff in school. I digress. Anyway. So your blood test can come back normal and you can still be functionally low. A normal magnesium on a standard panel does not rule this out. Personally, I used magnesium glycinate after doing the research. Of course, it's third-party tested. That's important because you need to know that what's actually in your vitamin is in your vitamin, and that's what we rely on third-party testing for. You can Google search that. I think I use Now brand a lot. I believe, don't hold me to that. I can look if you want to know. But it's one of the more absorbable forms, magnesium glycinate. There's a lot of forms of magnesium, also something new that I've learned in the last year. And it tends to be easier on the stomach than some of the other stuff. I'm not prescribing this to anyone. Do your own research. Find a provider who listens and who knows a thing or two or is willing to go learn a thing or two. But again, this is the information I needed. Nobody handed to me, but I'm here to help you out. If, like me, you're eating well, you're exercising, you're doing all the things, and you're still having palpitations, this is worth a conversation with your provider. Ask about intracellular magnesium testing if they have access to it. Okay, there's one more bit of information that I want you to understand, at least today in this video. Estrogen regulates vasomotor tone. What does that mean? Vasomotor tone is your blood vessel's ability to open up and tighten. Estrogen helps to keep that system regulated. This is the same system behind hot flashes. That would be night sweats, sudden flush of heat, the sweating, the whole body heat wave. That is a vasomotor event. Palpitations can be a part of the same vasomotor chaos. Your blood vessels are responding to estrogen fluctuation, and your heart rate is compensating for that. These symptoms are often the same system expressing itself in two different ways. So if you're having hot flashes and palpitations, they're not two separate problems. They don't need to be solved separately. They may have one root cause, and that changes how you can approach this. So hot flashes and heart palpitations are both classified as vasomotor symptoms of perimenopause. Research shows that they frequently co-occur during the menopausal transition. Yay! Your cardiologist is looking at your heart. Your gynecologist is looking at your cycles, hopefully. But nobody is standing in the middle looking at the whole system. At some point in time, we divided the body up into parts and we forgot to look at the whole. WHOLE, to be clear. And that is what this is all about. All right, so now let's get practical. What can you actually do with all of this, right? 4 things. Are you ready? 1, my favorite thing, track it, connect it. I am working on a tracking system that will make this easier. It's one that I've been developing for me because if I can track it and if I have something easy to do it with, it makes things simpler. Track it. Start logging like when your palpitations happen. What is it happening alongside? What is your body doing? Are they worse in the second half of your cycle? Or when are they worse? If you're not having a cycle, when is it occurring? If they're worse in the second half of your cycle, that's when progesterone drops off and estrogen becomes more dominant. Are they happening around ovulation? That's when estrogen peaks. Are they worse when you're stressed? Are they worse when you're not sleeping? This is pattern information that is so important. I can't implore you more to write it down. The most successful doctor visits I have had were when I went in prepared with books and notes. 2, request the right labs. And if your provider is not willing to do them or says they are not possible, it's time to give yourself permission to get up, walk out, and find a new provider. And there are websites that can help you do that. The Menopause Society, for one. A standard cardiac workup is worth doing right now to rule out any potential structural issues that you might have that you're not aware of. And that matters, and it's why I'm imploring you or encouraging you to do that. But also ask for a hormone panel. And again, if they get the ick, if they shirk, if they don't know what a hormone is, it's time to go. Here's your permission slip. This is what you say to your provider. Exactly, verbatim. Pause this, go get a pen, write it down, write it with your notes. I'd like to look at FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, at LH, luteinizing hormone, estradiol, estrogen, and testosterone. And yes, I have all those hormones in my body, and if you don't know that, get a book, or you might just want to go find a different provider. Then you say, and I want to understand where I am in the perimenopause transition. And again, if they tell you you're too young, resist the urge to flip them off. Sorry, I'm very passionate. Not sorry. Quit apologizing for yourself too. Don't say sorry. Also ask about intracellular magnesium testing if your provider has access to it. If they don't, Google that shit. I'm sure you can find somewhere online that you can do it. Why is all of this important? Because you want the full picture, not just the cardiac picture. We are more than just the cardiac system. We're whole ass people. So 3, find a provider who connects the dots. This is to piggyback on what I've been preaching on my soapbox. A gynecologist who understands perimenopause. You would think it would be easy to come by, but it's not. A functional med doctor. A menopause certified provider. The NAMS, NAMS directory is a good starting point. I'll put a link in the description for you. You want somebody who's not going to tell you that these palpitations have nothing to do with your hormones. That is not the right person. Because they very possibly do. 4, look at what is amplifying your nervous system right now. Caffeine. Yes, I know. It's my favorite too. I've had to limit it to just coming from tea. Alcohol. I know. Wah. Time to cut it out. Sad, hard realization for me, but I did. High cortisol. That's, yep. Chronic stress. All of these amplify vasomotor instability. Now, I'm not telling you to give up your coffee unless that is the direction you want to go. I gave up mine. I was a coffee junkie. I needed to give it up. It was making me feel like crap. I'm not the person to tell you what to do. But if your palpitations are spiking and you're doing everything else right, look at what else your nervous system is processing at that moment. It may be time to give it less noise. All right, I want to be really clear about something before I close. If you are having palpitations that are not new, frequent, or that come with chest pain, shortness of breath, or dizziness, please go get that checked immediately, post haste. Rule out the structural stuff that matters. It always matters first. But if you've already done that, congratulations, good job, I'm proud of you. If you've already had to wear the monitor, done the echo, gotten the clean bill of cardiac health, and you're still sitting there wondering what the fuck is going on with your body, your hormones are a valid and encouraged place to look, okay? I'm your biggest cheerleader. Take me with you. You're not imagining this. Your body isn't betraying you. It's just speaking a language that most of medicine has not been trained to look at. I did some research today, and I think it was 1977, we were kicked out of scientific studies, and we weren't allowed, and I do mean we by us, by women uterus-bearing people, we weren't allowed to be added back in until 1993. They considered us the same as, or not very different than, men, and only studied men. It's not gotten that much better yet. Okay, a few resources that I love for going deeper. Mary Claire Haver's The New Menopause. Oh my God, I love the book and I love her. It's got a solid cardiovascular chapter. Tamsin Fadal, another one I adore. How to Menopause, that's her book, is great for the personal side of the story. And for the research, look up the SWAN, SWAN study, the study of women's health across the nation. It has published work specifically on perimenopause and the perimenopause transition. All linked in the description. Thank you, Max. Drop a comment if this resonated. Tell me your story because the stories are mission critical here. The more we talk, the more we help each other. Tell me if you wore the monitor. How many times did you wear the monitor? And tell me what they said. I read every single one of your comments and I'm going to respond to every single one of you. And girl, if you haven't done something to love yourself today, please go do that. And if you don't know what that looks like, send me a message and I'll help you out. Okay? Until next time, all my love.